So it's nice to be here. I don't know any of you. So, Brittany, where are you?
You need a bigger one.
This is my good luck charm. This picture is 22 years old, and it was taken 2 weeks before I had a heart attack. This is a young family. This is me, my lovely bride, and my 2 children who were then 4 and 8. The boys are all wearing sweaters that Grandma knit. She never got around to knitting one for Jeanette. So I have really the job of my dreams. I'm the planning director in Newton, Massachusetts, which, by the way, is next door to Watertown, to make it current for that. We live near Heartbreak Hill on the Marathon route.
Woohoo!
And I've had a stressful week. And I have gone to the school board and had a contentious fight with somebody who shall be nameless, and I've gone back and talked to the mayor and cannot control myself. I don't know if you remember West Wing, where somebody lost their temper with the president? Well, that's me. And then that night I have to go to a budget hearing. I oversee the Conservation Commission. And we are having a budget cut. And I say to them that the 30 deer that we have that are a gift from the late Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, I am going to cut their feed out of the budget. Because I either cut the feed out of the budget or I cut a planter out of the budget. And I figure you folks can raise money to feed deer. You won't raise money to feed one of my planters. Okay, I'm tired. I am really tired. I go home that night and I don't sleep so well. I go downstairs and I get sick, but I don't tell anybody. I come back upstairs and I think, oh, this must be a hiatal hernia. So this is Valentine's Day morning. And I can barely lift my head off the pillow and I'm going to work. Jeanette says, no. I said, yes, no, yes, no. We compromised. I took a shower and we went to the HMO. Anybody ever heard of an HMO? And we get there. They haven't opened for business yet, but they have an acute care in the back someplace. And we tell them my symptoms, and they say, oh, you have to go up to your primary. It's up 1 or 2 flights. And oh, by the way, the elevator's broken. Well, I don't know how many flights it was. It seemed like a lot. And we get up there, and as it happens, my primary is present. Nachum Vishnevsky. Can I say that? He's from Israel. He's Jewish, and he's so Orthodox that he shipped his 4 daughters to Baltimore, where I'm from, because they had a Jewish school, a residential school, that was observant enough. Couldn't find it in Boston. So Humi looks at me, he orders an EKG, and he says, well, you're having a heart attack. Oh, don't tell Jeanette. He's standing right there. He starts oxygen, he's put something into my arm that looks like a needle, and calls the ambulance. And I'm laying there, thinking somebody better take care of Jeanette because I can't at this point. Ambulance guys show up. First thing they do is they turn up the oxygen, they look at the IV line, they go, this guy hasn't started a line since medical school. I'm still breathing, so I'm okay. Right? Then they transfer me to their stretcher, their rolling gurney, and it takes 5 turns to get me out of the damn exam room. The ones I design are bigger. Nothing like experience. They take me on the elevator, which is of course now working, and they roll me out to the ambulance. And I start laughing because it's snowing in my face. How many TV shows do you see where it's snowing on the patient's face? I figured it's all cool. Well, they have a choice. They're going to take me to Newton Wellesley local hospital, or they're going to take me downtown to the big hospital, of which there are 11. And they say, you're in luck, we're going to take you to Brigham and Women's. After listening to this, I'd have been better off in a place that wasn't a teaching hospital. Okay, they get me downtown. First of all, before I use the expression, anybody remember Doogie Howser? Doogie Howser is a precocious medical student who, you know, he's probably 12. In any event, they take me in wherever they're going to take me, and some kid in a white coat starts to take my history. And among other things, he wants to know, have you taken drugs? Is this going to go on my permanent record? I'm having a heart attack. What the hell? So he says, all right, the answer's no. By the way, that's a question my kids have never asked. Of all the questions, that's the one they don't want to know the answer to. The timing's a little fuzzy, but anyway, they take me to the cath lab. And by the way, I don't know if you know Tim Nichols, pathologist, cardiologist. When I first got here, I had to build a 4,000 square foot pig pen for him out at the lake. But Tim told me recently that it wasn't until the mid-'80s that cardiologists settled the debate about whether clots caused heart attacks or heart attacks caused clots. So I'm in the cath lab, and there's this screen with a line running through it. And they're going, oh look, you've got collaterals. And I go, what the hell, you need collateral to go to the hospital? So somehow they take me out of there, and I'm in a room, I think I'm in intensive care, and there's a sandbag that weighs a lot. And it's on my groin where they've punctured the wound to get into the, you know, and they say, you can't move for 10 hours or you'll bleed to death. Okay? And I looked later, and they've loaded me up with tranquilizer, which is just as well. And later that night, there's the news is on. It's McNeil Lehrer, the evening news on public television. And it's 1991, there's a recession, and there's a credit crunch in New England. And on comes this bear of a man. He's 6'5", he's got a huge beard, and he's the developer that I've been trying to sell a junior high school to. We've been working to sell this vacant junior high school now for years. This is my chance to succeed. We're going to build 60 apartments, 20 of which are going to be subsidized Section 8. This is the best deal we can come up with. Newton's a lot like the People's Republic of Chapel Hill, and it's feel good. And this school is on the grounds that belonged to the grandfather of the president of the city council, who lives directly across the street, who hates my boss, the mayor. My friend, the developer, is being interviewed, and he says, credit is so tough, I can't complete deals anymore. That night is the night the Board of Aldermen and City Council are scheduled to vote on approving this plan. Thank God for the Valley. I turned it off. I said, well, what the hell? So it's a day or two later, and they've decided I'm going to live. They moved me out of coronary care and into something which I don't think we have at UNC anymore, a semi-private room. And I'm laying there. I'm contemplating life. they get me up and I walk to the nurse's station. I'm sure my backside's hanging out. And you know what? I don't care. I really don't care. I am walking so slow. And you know, I'm thinking, well, can I go back to work? Am I going to have another one of these? Is Jeanette ever going to talk to me again? More importantly, am I ever going to have sex again? So I know I'm feeling better. So in the next bed, there's an elderly Jewish guy. How elderly? I don't know. He might be as old as I am now. And I recognize him because I'm Jewish. I grew up in a row house neighborhood in Baltimore, post-World War II. And how Jewish was this neighborhood? You had to drive 3 miles to see Christmas lights. So this guy he's groaning, his wife is there, his brother, his sister.